bounce back to the game between Maxime Vachier-Lagrave and Ediz Gurel because, well, that was we left it at a very exciting moment. Knight G5, H4, and yep, that rook did come down to D6. And let's get right up to date. Looks good for Maxime playing white because he absolutely dominates the D file. But let me see. The rook is attacking here. But I can see that, what are the clock times? 1:58. Oh, it's actually pretty even, but against 2 minutes. So they're both just under 2 minutes.
And Maxime is a very sharp tactical player. Calculates incredibly quickly.
Absolutely brilliant calculator, yeah.
But rook takes c5. Well, it does allow rook to d7, as you mentioned. And do you allow the rooks to come in, or do you try to generate some counterplay somewhere else? Somehow, if you just go rook c7, I feel like you're losing control. In fact, I think you might even have
that's the move that's the move played.
Okay, rook c7.
And it's gone queen c3. I'm just constructing this, and king. Now there's...
Yeah, you have to get out of the island of the queen, the king, because this rook takes h6 in here. And king h7 makes a lot of sense.
I'm afraid my graphics, the live board hasn't caught up with it yet. But isn't this great? Maxime has played b4. So it's a beautiful majority, but how's that king feeling on b1?
Yeah, I mean, now is the time to start opening lines at whatever cost, right? So I'm thinking f4.
F4 just going for it.
Run with it, yeah. See how far you get.
Wow.
Although, you might come to regret that kind of a decision.
Yeah, but why not? It could open things up. Yeah, I mean, it leaves the e4 pawn a little bit loose, but that's life.
In these type of positions, it's all about king safety. And if a rook or queen starts sniffing around the white king, it's not going to be comfortable. Okay, so he goes queen to e5, centralizing the queen. Yeah, he's building up, and there we did see a result in the background between Krzysztof Duda and Nurgil Salimova. That was definitely a win for Jan Krzysztof. Had a big advantage in that game.
Really tense game here. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave playing white against this great talent from Turkey, Ediz Gurel. Yeah. Queen e3 played.
Just keeping an eye on the f4 pawn break. So now is the time to go rook e7, reinforce e4. Or is he calculating?
It's interesting. I mean, looking at the eval bar, it says it's still roughly level. But I look at this position, I think all three results are possible here.
Absolutely. I mean, because if white manages to control all the breaks, then white is superior, you know, with his queenside mobile pawn majority and also, you know, dominating the D line. But if black breaks out and you lose control, then just as easily as like white is doing well, black can also just turn the tables.
One thing I'd quite like to do is exchange queens here and then bring the king up to support those pawns. Because black's queen is so beautifully centralized. I mean, black would still have counterplay there, but I don't know, it's a thought.
I'm agreeing with you. Queen to f4, I feel, is a real threat. Because like you say, the king can snake its way to c2, cover those some important squares. So I feel like to prepare for that, maybe rook e7, and then get ready to generate some play with a potential e3 break. But we see some moves.
Yeah.
Maybe we can just have the player's camera up.
That'll be good.
For the live board to adjust.
And it looks to me like Maxime has 20-odd seconds left. My goodness, against 37. Yeah, we need the live board to catch up. We're missing the moves.
Yeah. And there you can have a closer view on the clock. 16 seconds.
My goodness, it's getting sharp. He has broken with b6.
Okay, and there we're seeing he grabbed the pawn on b6. Okay, well, Now is the time for Gurel to start lining up the firepower.
This is
on the C line.
It's make or break. What you think? Something like Queen C8, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, he has to calculate what's going to happen after Rook to C5.
Oh, here we go. We've got it on the graphics board again.
Rook to C3. It's coming in. And now, okay, this is how easily it can go wrong. Now the queen can start snaking her way into the queen side.
And if king b2, then rook f3 switches across.
Yeah. And queen a4 is in the air.
h5. Wow.
That's deep.
He's not bothering defending the pawn on a3.
He's securing himself at least a perpetual, right? Because you've got rook takes h6 in the air.
That's tricky. Nice. And queen g6, and
Yeah, you keep on checking. So, okay.
And maybe very prudent. I mean, look at the clock times. 15 seconds for Maxime against... He's under 10 seconds. Gurel is under 10 seconds.
Okay, he grabs...
Grabs a pawn on h5.
Okay.
Oh, well, this must be good for black now. I mean, having got rid of that pawn on h5, then black's king is so much safer. Here we go.
Whoa, this is
Oh,
so
he's down to under 10 seconds.
Yeah, the queen there on h1. Oh,
e3.
And then queen takes
Incredible.
d5 check. Wow, he just keeps finding the resources, and the e3 pawn is still alive.
Push again. e2. Surely he's got to push e2. But this looks tremendous for black. White's king is a bit exposed. I mean, crucially, black's king looks really good, but to play this with basically playing on the increment.
He's gone for it, e2. Okay,
Oh,
now the question is how to keep that pawn alive. With queen, rook to c1.
How cool is that? Now, can he play rook d8? Yes, he's done it. This is winning. He's threatening rook d2 check. Rook d2 check.
That is gonna...
I think this is game over. Incredible. And he's bounced up to 29 seconds. I think Maxime is on his last legs here.
Well, can he try and go for a perpetual check? And there he goes, queen to e6. So his big idea is if that rook moves, he's threatening queen takes f5, queen to c8, and just keeping that perpetual checking mechanism going.
That's remarkable, because after rook d2, the king drops back to b1, and there's no check on b3. It's covered by the queen on e6. He's done it anyway. Now, what's the move? Can you take the rook d1 and get a queen?
You've got to calculate what's going to happen. Can you, the black king, escape the checks? And he queens immediately. Okay, you can't... There you go. Now, how far up the board is that king going to go to escape the checks?
By the way, we should say that if queen takes queen, then queen b3,
would have been checkmate.
So he's brought the rook back. Okay, so must be winning now.
Yeah.
It's queen against rook.
One pawn falls, another one is going to go. I mean, can white try and go for a fortress? There's a pawn imbalance, though. I mean, it's quite simple for black to create a pawn on the h line.
Yeah, this is gone.
Yeah, but Maxime doing everything he can, anchoring the rook to the f2 pawn, and now the black king is just simply going to march up the board. Teamwork makes the dream work.
I have to say, that was incredibly impressive from Gurel. I think, he had so little time, and to find the way through there was brilliant. But yeah, I mean, he still needs to finish it off, but this is a win.
Mm-hmm. And the beauty of this time control is that with that extra 10-second time bonus per move, you can just start to stack up on your time.
Yep.
Build it up.
He would love to move that king right down to h3, but it's no... Yeah, king g4, then the king, I guess, will come back to h2, but there's going to be a way through. Maybe we should shift to another board, actually.
Yeah, so whilst Gurel, he's in his element there, he's going to squeeze out a win. Let's have a look at another game that's ongoing. Maybe we can revisit the Rosenstein game.
Okay.
On the recreational board of the WR chess team against generation YXZA?
Well, it looks like Vadim Rosenstein with white is in complete control. He's 2 pawns up. Nice pass pawn on c6. Yeah, looking good.
Yeah. And in terms of the match result, it looks like WR chess team. Well,
Are they doing the biz?
they are certainly doing the biz. We have wins from Ali Reza. We also have wins from Jan Krzysztof Duda, Hou Yifan. So they're no trouble whatsoever.
And the king was coming in. White's king had to come to h2 to stop the king moving to h3. The rook came across. Queen c5, attacking the f pawn and the rook. And I'm assuming, yeah, if the rook goes back, then the king would start to crawl in. That looks beautiful. And as it was, Maxime played rook e3. And queen takes rook was the final move of the game. Because after this, then this one, the king comes in and picks up the pawn, and yeah, once you play g4, it's game over. But there's no rush with that. But yeah, picks up the pawn on e3, and that's just a very simple win in the pawning game.